honestly.
I'm looking forward to it, but I think it's going to have the same effect that New World had, where it's going to be hype and excitement, and then it's going to drop off, and then it's going to hopefully find its like community and continue to support the game and give content, you know, because you know they're designing it. They designed it exactly for the games that I enjoy, the sandbox that, you know, like, and so, but like everybody's like, the MMO, and I use the term community loosely because like there really isn't an MMO community. It's more like people who,
it's very fractured.
It's and they just the fighting again, and it's like it is like a genre that's very tribal, with like there are exceptions, so it's not like, oh, I like this one game, but the vocalness of it, you know, ends up being very tribal. But so I use that term loosely. I think essentially a lot of people, like, there's this addiction that I think everybody has to the next big MMO, and the next big MMO is the MMO that continues to do a lot of work, you know, year over year over year over year. You know, it's not like it's going to launch and it's going to have that, and then you know, people are like, I think people who don't understand MMOs are just going to be like, oh, game's dead. It's like, well, is it? Like,
yeah, it's going to be the exact same thing New World had. It's going to be continually escalating level of hype until it launches, and then people no life it. They're going to find out it's got 3 months worth of content. They're going to blow through it in 6 weeks because they're playing 120 hours a week, and then say there's no content.
Excuse me, did you say weeks or days?
Who knows? Some people days. But I know, but like when you look at the real numbers on New World outside of like people who left because of bugs, and like when they come back there, I feel like they're going to actually have a lot of content to do. But like when it comes down to it, like the biggest drop off happened like around February, is right around the game, like looking at the game, it's like it really launched with like, you know, four months of content, you know, and once people started, you know, oh, I'm already like at 625, what do I do now, and this and that and that, and it's like, well, just wait till the next whatever, you know. So it's like when you're playing it like with that mindset, yeah, like, and then the thing is like, yeah, take a break and then come back and play later. So I think essentially we'll see. I believe content to be the real key factor. I believe that one of the big strengths that 14 brings is it has continued to deliver content on time, on schedule, you know, and and then it has that the mini hype cycle outside the big hype cycle. So
content and communication,
communication and consistency.
Yeah. Well, and the graphics inside this game are really nice. I mean, even like I said, I'm running it high, not very high because of the shadow box, but it still looks really, really nice.
Yeah, dude.
Now, I mean, my curiosity is like you were mentioning Ashes of the Creation. The reason I was following AOC myself was because one of the systems that they were introducing, well, two actually. One was the fact that they were introducing a seasonal-based system.
Yeah, that looks cool.
To me because, like, they were going to a really high level of detail. For example, say you build your, you know, city somewhere further north.
Right.
And winter comes. During winter time, if you built there originally because you could get access to a large number of pelts, during the winter you may not be able to get access to a large number of pelts.
Yeah.
Or if you built there because of the access to a large lake body, during the winter that lake body may not be accessible because it may freeze over. And so it forces you to seek alternative means of income based upon the seasonality of the game, which is an interesting point of adaptivity and immersion that you don't see in a lot of games. And then also the introduction of the node-based system, which they gave the example that they gave was basically an example of a town that decides to go very heavy on the smithing and mining side of things.
Yeah.
And so that was built by the players. They're all built by players who start node towns in the game, but they build and they basically pull Lord of the Rings Dwarven Act in the sense that they dig too deep. They get too greedy, they dig too deep, and when they do that, they end up actually waking up a dragon.
Yeah.
So like very Lord of the Rings in their references there, but you know, it's an applicable reference.
No,
so
I'm excited.
And so now games like this one, they have an opportunity that if they develop something that runs along a similar concept and adapt that into their existing system,
yeah,
there is the risk that they could alienate some people, possibly, but there's also the risk that they could get ahead of the curve on games like AOC. So
yeah, absolutely. That's one of the things is like with like, because I don't see AOC coming out until 2025 at a minimum. You know, like, and maybe 2024. You know, like, but like in terms of when it's ready, like, you know, when it's ready, and that gives New World the opportunity to have, you know, three years of content and changes, and also adding in like maybe some others the systems. You know, who knows?
Oh, Lord.
Yep. That's it.
Also, not just add more content, but also develop a content cycle.
Yeah, a
Show
content
players
cycle.
That,
Oh, I'm
show
down.
Players that there's just more game, but also
That more game is coming.
They're updating the game regularly.
Right, because everybody, like, players have been burned because people are like, oh, we have a 10-year plan. It's like, and then they're like, Anthem shuts down. And you're like, what? You know, well, that was just a lie. And then, like, so, like, nobody, like, we don't know, you don't know. New World and Amazon, it's like they're brand new to the space. So it's like, will they do it? Maybe.
Their track record as a company is not great.
Not really.
Well, they can't, like, they canceled games that were bad. So it's like, here they actually are very pleased with it. But, yeah, like, I don't, like, Blizzard's done that a number of times. So, but people have a history with Blizzard, right? So it's just going to take time.
Oh, okay.
Well, and then, I mean, you do have examples of where maybe companies should have pulled out while they were ahead, quit while they were ahead and didn't. You know, Star Citizen is a good example of that. Star Citizen.
God,
I mean,
Star Citizen.
I mean, I probably got 500 into that game, if I'm honest.
Talk about feature creep, man.
Yep, it is. And then, I mean, halfway through their development, they went through an engine overhaul because they had a disagreement with the original engine developer. I mean, you know, so
I'm glad
They're
Ashes
basically
is
going
on
through the same
actually
thing.
Unreal 5 because that's going to actually help it, you know, in 5-10 years down in its life cycle, as opposed to like one of the things I honestly hope with the delay that's happened with Blue Protocol, that Blue Protocol shifts into Unreal 5. Like, just get on the latest engine tech, do everybody a favor. Well, yeah,
Going to bed now.
is it 10? Oh, it is 10. All right, cool.
Yeah.
Damn it, I'm having fun. All right, yeah, I'm excited for AOC. Like, you know, I'm really looking forward to playing that, and I want it to be a success. I just feel like it's gonna have the same. I mean, it was the same thing I said about New World. It's like, it's just gonna have the same trajectory that all new MMOs have. Like, they're gonna come out of the gate, they're gonna struggle a little bit, and then it's going to be a matter of how do you invite people back into that experience? How do you invite people back into your game? And that's content, communication, and consistent content. And it doesn't mean that they're going to get everybody back on, like, you know, the year one update. Like, you know, that's going to come out. The Great Sword's going to come out. People are going to come check it out. Some people are going to stick around. Some people are going to be playing this whole time, and they're going to want to go play something else. Like, there is an ebb and flow. That's why I think an expansion, though, communicates a lot to the players. An expansion would basically say, we're really committed. Like, and here's a giant chunk of content for you. Oh, here's a giant chunk of content to be excited about. So typically, and I don't know if it would work exactly like with 14, but 14 with the expansion announcement, boom, you start seeing a lot of players coming back to the game, and then they play through that pre-expansion hype, and then they play the expansion, and then they take a break. And it's like, I'll be kind of curious to see, like, if that is the ultimate kind of model of our time right now.
well, I mean, as far as AOC specifically, there is actually one thing I'm slightly worried about, and that is, unfortunately, the vitrolic human nature of gamers.
Yeah.
Like, one of the things that I've actually been kind of pondering about just ever so slightly is like, okay, I know that there's players out there that will intentionally go out of their way to wreck things because they can, because someone gave them that ability, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm sitting here going, okay, a node-based system where bad things can happen. Well, the better part of me would like to say, well, nobody's going to actually do that. They're not going to actually,
They will.
you know, yeah, they will. They'll go and they'll do something really dumb, and you know. So my curiosity is to see how
Yeah.
to see just how they counter that, you know.